To change behavior, appropriate behavior must be taught, modeled, practiced, and acknowledged. This is true for both children and adults. Here are 5 big mind shifts necessary for adults to understand in order to create positive early learning climates in your elementary school or child care center. Number 1. Your goal is not changing child behavior, it's changing adult behavior. It's important to exhibit positive adult-child interactions, such as greeting children by their name, engaging in one-to-one reciprocal interactions at eye level, using a pleasant, calm voice and simple language, providing warm, responsive physical contact, following the child's lead and interests during play, listening to children and encourage them to listen to others, and acknowledging a child's accomplishments and efforts. Parents and teachers must work together, and family engagement is an essential element of child success in school. Number 2, teachers and parents must teach behavior.
If we have an outburst and we have a much older child, and the outburst looks like the outburst of a 4-year-old, then we say, we have got a problem. Okay, so that's something we have to go back and say, how do we get this child to act like the 14-year-old, not the 4-year-old? But when we have a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old acting like a 2 or 3-year-old, how do we try to get them to understand what just happened?
I think when young people go to college to become teachers and get trained to be a classroom teacher, they kind of do it with the notion that they love children and children are going to love them. Children are going to come to the classroom and they're going to fall in love with the teacher, and if they're really good, they'll all behave. But the reality is that kids come to us with a lot of different needs, a lot of different experiences. Some children have challenges, some children live in challenging circumstances.
It's important to remember that adults can't force a child to change their behavior. However, adults can change the environment in a way that encourages the child to choose a different behavior. And teachers and parents can focus on developing and identifying teachable moments, because it's easier to prevent a meltdown by intentionally teaching and being proactive rather than being reactive. Number 3, refrain. Understand a child's behavior. It may be a reflection of something deeper.
Challenging behavior usually has some kind of message. It might mean I'm bored, it might mean I'm sad, you hurt my feelings and I need some attention. Children use challenging behavior when they don't have the social communication skills that they need to engage in more appropriate interactions.
As adults, we often make many assumptions that the problem lies with the child, but there are so many other possible explanations for his or her behavior.
You have to view problem behavior as a child's skill deficit versus that children are being bad or mean. So what we do when children have behaviors challenges is we figure out how we're going to teach them, how we're going to engage them, and how we're going to support them. Not how we're going to control them, not how we're going to manage them, but how are we going to support them so that they can be successful. Those are big and those are hard. It's especially hard when a kid's aggressive, when a kid might hurt you, when a kid engages in property destruction. It's really hard to kind of say, Joey has some needs that aren't being met and we need to figure out how to meet them.
Number 4. Model and teach behavior. Then, practice, practice, practice. Children learn best by mirroring adult behavior, so it's important to model appropriate behavior. You should demonstrate skills you wish to see, such as self-awareness. I feel happy when I play with you. Self-management. You play first, then I can play. Resilience. That didn't work. Let me try again. Social agility. Let's ask Sam to play with us. Responsible decision-making. I'm going to make dinner first, then I can play with you. Do you want to help me with dinner? Parents and teachers and other adults can model great relationship skills by giving suggestions. Would you like to ask Sam to play with you? Sharing toys and other materials. You can play with this stuffed animal if you like. May I play with your markers? Taking turns. You can swing first, then I'll go next. Being helpful. Can I help you with that? Showing affection. Giving him, her a big hug and smiling. Giving compliments. You are behaving so nice and sweet. Understanding how and when to give an apology. I'm sorry I was late to pick you up. I know you miss me and I wasn't there when I said I would be there. Empathize. When you feel happy, I'm happy. Number 5. Collect child-based data to make better decisions about instructional improvement. To improve child behavior, we must first start with tracking minor classroom behavior incidents.
Tracking minor incidents of behavior early on and understanding what's happening and when it's happening provides data for decision making. That function should happen every day as a part of how you run your early learning center, how you run your elementary school. It's all part of understanding what is the climate like.
So a teacher will be able to see, wow, this is happening at 9:45 or during center time. I need to pay attention to what I'm doing to see maybe I'm contributing to this, or maybe it's a part of the day. What's going on with this student? So the data will really help drive that.
As you begin tracking, keep track of the behavior, the context, the number of times it occurs, and record the answers to the following questions from these examples. What is the behavior? Is there physical aggression, tantrums, inconsolable crying, or defiance? What is the context? Does the behavior occur in centers, circle time, classroom instruction, during transition, or in snack or nap time? What is the motivation? Does the child want to obtain an item, obtain attention, avoid activity, or avoid sensory? And what is your response? Do you give a verbal reminder, move the child in the group, provide comfort, provide choice, or offer physical guidance? As your tracking progresses, patterns will begin to emerge that will help guide you in making adjustments to adult behavior accordingly.
We can identify some of those minor incidences first before they start developing into the larger incidences, which then become possibly the norm for the school. So the richness of the ability to identify those office discipline referrals of the minor infractions is a major component of PBIS.
These 5 new mindsets pave the way for successful and positive early learning climates in schools all across Georgia. To learn more about positive learning climate and the Get Georgia Reading campaign, visit getgeorgiareading.org.